I never really considered myself a mentor, but really someone who just wanted to help people become the people they wanted to be. So think about that as a clinician. My goal is to help families and individuals kind of become the person that they really want to be, and that was my goal. And I see the same sort of thing in my work, or really in my personal development. Everyone I'm going to work with, my goal is to help them be the people they want to be. And so it becomes pretty easy if you have an undergraduate student or a graduate student or a postdoc or a junior faculty member. If you just listen, you get to hear what they want to do and what they want to be, and then you sort of help problem solve with them based on what they want to do, as opposed to sort of putting my own expectations on what they might want. So the things I do to try to do my best at helping someone become the person they want to be is to first just stop and listen and really try to understand what it is that that person wants to do. If an undergraduate student want to find out, well, where do they want to go? What capacity do they want to work in the world? Where do they want to be? Who do they want to work with? And so I start by just listening. And the second thing I do is I sort of try to tamp down anything that I think makes most sense for that person. Maybe that's easier said than done, but really try to not, trying to make sure I'm not putting what my own expectations on that person. I can share my experiences, but I do much more of the listening. The other concrete thing I'd say is I don't actually give advice. I'm not much of an advice giver. I'm more of a listener. The way I think about advice often is that it's me just telling someone what I think makes sense, as opposed to actually hearing where they really want to be. To me, advice says more about me than about the person that's talking.
A huge part of my life is dedicated to mentorship, and I was really fortunate to have incredible mentors when I was doing my training. I mean, I worked with Alan Marlatt for 30 years. He had a huge impact on my life, not just professionally but personally. I have a really strong commitment to returning that favor, to making sure that people get what they need. And part of that has to do with the individual connections that are established in the mentor or mentee relationship, and just that satisfaction of watching people develop and blossom and become who they can be, the best that they can be. Part of it is about the science. I mean, I really feel like the science does not benefit when we do not bring in people with diverse perspectives, with diverse talents, and when we don't retain people in the field who really could be the ones who make the difference. And so a lot of what I do is not so much teaching them how to do something as it is connecting them with the right resources and the right people at the right time to get them where they want to go. I also try very hard to create an environment where it is safe to fail. We very explicitly around here model sharing your progress as well as your problems. So we share drafts among each other. My drafts are not that good sometimes. But if I can't be imperfect, then what good am I as a mentor? Because otherwise you're trying to reach some ideal you can't get to.
When I think about my formal professional mentors, what I hear a lot and I think a lot is advice being given to me and expectations being sort of placed upon me. And I always found myself having to weigh every suggestion as, that doesn't really work for me. I don't know if that makes sense. And again, well-intentioned and very, very engaged, but many of my mentorship examples are advice. And really when I think about mentorship, I really think about actually my own father, who would just spend a lot of time listening. And he would just listen, and then he would ask questions, and as opposed to sort of probing with advice or suggestions. And I think that's really where I get my model for how to interact with people, as opposed from professional mentors.
One of the things that I try to do that doesn't involve any money is making sure that trainees see how much fun we're having. What a great life this is. What a fantastic life this is. Because one of the things that happens in research, it may happen in other places too, I don't know, but I mean, one of the things that happens in research is that we actually complain a lot about the hours and about like, oh, this grant is due, I can't do anything else. And there's like this sort of like badge of courage type of thing or something that, you stayed up all night to get this done. And essentially what we're telling our trainees is, oh my gosh, we're exhausted and overwhelmed all the time, and this is, you'd be better off going into industry. We talk about the reductions in NIH funding as if the sky is falling. The sky is not falling, right? There's always been ebbs and flows in NIH funding. There's going to continue to be ebbs and flows in NIH funding. Good research that's well packaged and put together well is still going to get funded. But I really feel like some of the messages that we send out discourage people from pursuing this path. I hate it when I see people who have all the elements and everything that it would take to be successful, but they feel like there's not a path forward for them. So I try to make paths. I mean, in terms of resources, I think the making that leap, having bridge funding, some kind of stable sense that if your grant falls through, there's going to be something there for you. And pilot money is huge because NIH grants really do require that you have pilot data to put in, and there are not sufficient sources of that right now.
One of the things I'm most excited about is that there's so many individuals with autism and neurodevelopmentals out there in the community, and a lot of these folks aren't getting their needs met. Just the demand is too great for the provider capacity, and so in many ways, every time I get someone excited about clinical research in autism or clinical care in autism, that just gets me excited. I'm super excited about that. So that's one thing that I enjoy about mentoring folks that have come into my lab, because they've already made some commitment and interest in autism. So that's one thing. On the more personal level, I guess I get really happy when people can come back and say to me, holy cow, I'm doing exactly what I want to do. I'm doing exactly what I want to do. I'm so excited. I never thought I could do this. This is so exciting. And that's pretty gratifying for me to sort of hear people say that.
These trainees make me look really good. I mean, they do. They publish. They get grants. They give talks. They go on to great things. There's no other way around it. Right? I mean, I am benefiting from the pyramid every day. And I honestly, I feel like I benefit more because I'm not trying to, narrowly constrain where they go, but rather to open the world up for them, which also opens the world up for me in terms of where we can go.